Okay, so I'm not gonna show myself because I look a mess. You see my Majesty plant that I had to rehab to life. Because it was really cold where I lived at, and yeah, got a lot of frost. So, anywho, I wanted to talk about placement, and I will say this: if you haven't listened to my videos, nothing happens on an accident. Everything is appointed for a specific time, place, season. Everything. What I did not know is that God was positioning me to get ready for the transition. And now that I look at it, I see that a lot of people have already been through it, and what they were saying on their channels, they were talking about it. You don't hear a lot about that in the media. And I didn't know, or even in a lot of churches. So, especially if you're around, unless you're around a certain, special few that understand it. I did not understand that the things that I was going through, God was giving it to me to prepare me for something greater. I didn't understand until when I left, and I left away from where I was at, and I came back. When I left from where I'm accustomed to living at, these people, a lot of them didn't. A lot of them didn't appreciate me. A lot of them said bad things to me. There were some people who were nice to me, but a lot of them, even some of them that were nice, ended up changing their views towards me. And I know it was towards, because of other people's talking and everything. I mean, I had a lot of rejection, a lot of things to come upon me. Now, I thought it was me, and that I thought not only me, I thought it was them, and it's so bad that they did this, and I just have to work on myself, which I did. During that process, God showed me that the person that he was trying to change was not them. They made their decision. It was me, because I didn't even understand that I even had a decision to make. As I was going through it, I didn't even understand it until I started going to therapy. Like, everybody has a decision. Everybody has a choice. You grow up. I grew up to where, you had your parents and people above you to make your decisions. So I didn't really understand that, you actually do have a choice. You're making a choice whether, each and every day, whether you acknowledge it or not. Even as a kid, I didn't understand that I was making a choice to obey my parents. I wanted to be good for them, but I didn't really understand that I had already made a decision to do so. And during this process, it showed me that in order to do something, in order for things to happen, I had to change my mindset. And to change my mindset to not only understand that you have to do certain things to get certain places, I understood that. However, I understood part of that. However, I had to understand that there are some people who have the same dreams as you, but they're not making the goals. When you make a decision, it changes from a dream to a goal, to a tangible goal. And I didn't understand that's how goals are made. You make goals, you didn't really understand the process. This time God had to show me, during that, because during this process, I felt so relieved, but I had to let a lot of things and a lot of people and a lot of situations and a lot of beliefs in my head go, and it got me closer to the place that I wanted to go, with God and all of that, not looking towards tradition, but obeying his word and his principles. It showed me that God, like I said, he put his word above his name. So if you really believe in him, just like if you wanted to be a superstar and they tell you, look at all these people who doing all this crazy stuff. just to be a superstar. If you really believe in something, you're going to drop it and do it. Look at all these people who want to be rich and they're being drug dealers. If you really want to do it, they're going to do it, Look at these people who, like those people in Nigeria. They want to be Christians and they believe in what they're standing for. Even unto death, they believed in what he said and they lost their lives. But it was something they let go. Every situation was something that they had to change. They had to change their mindset and adapt to what they were achieving, what they were going after. And that's the same thing that God has been doing with me. I had to get away from the familiar and from the tangible familiar and the things that felt comfortable. A lot of people, when you get lazy, why do you get lazy? Because it feels comfortable. You don't want to do anything else because it's uncomfortable to be unlazy. Procrastination, why do you slow down? It's because of anxiety. Because why? It feels better to know the outcome of procrastinating. That it feels good. The outcome of not dealing with things right then makes you feel okay, even though in the latter days it's going to give you more tension and more backlash. So God had to get me in a position get me in a position of changing my mindset and understanding that he is in control and what he is doing. The second thing that I learned is that I did talk about the decisions. They make their own decisions. Yes. It made me to stand behind my decision. It's one thing to make a decision, but it's another thing to guard yourself and keep your decision. Because if you do not stand behind what you believe in, you are susceptible to return back and to retreat and to go back into the same habits and the same old lifestyle that you are accustomed to being doing. So when you get renewed and when God changes your mind, you're going to get away from different situations that are familiar to you, because you understand that is something, the outcome is not what you are trying to achieve. God had to change my mindset to not take shortcuts, because it'll give you the outcome, but you're not going to have that full satisfaction. You're not going to have that total appreciation of going through it. And I understand that, God is the author of time. I'm yarning all of a sudden. I had all this energy, but I'm yarning all of a sudden, So I know that's another device of the enemy, but God deals with time. He is the author of time, meaning he created time. He is time. He created time. So, because of that, because of that, your time is valuable. It was a lot of stuff that I understood that I could not waste my time on. I couldn't waste my time on people who are not trying to elevate or better their situations. I cannot waste my time on people who are trying to make me feel bad because of the decisions that I previously made. Or I cannot sit around and dwindle and rehash the past, or stay around someone who is not going in the direction that I'm going, trying to drag them, because either they're going to be dead weight or they're going to pull me and nullify me from my purpose and my destiny. So that was a couple of things that God showed me. That was two things. The next thing was that dealing with time is that, yes, God is the author of time, but he gives it to us, so we have to use it wisely. So it goes back to what I was saying on that. But not only with that, it made me stand strong and say that I'm willing, because time is precious and time is one of the most attributes one of the limited resources that I have. I'm no longer willing to be uncautious with my time. I have to be prudent with my time as to how I'm spending my time with people, how I'm spending time with God, and time with myself, and time with building myself and building my character, and I understand that's what God was doing for me. Nothing happens on an accident. I understand that, but it took me to a whole nother level as kingdomship with God, You know, you do a lot of things, and I thought that I was doing a lot of great things, and I know that nothing that I did was because of me. I know it was God. However, when God touches you and he's working on you, he tries to take you to another level. He breaks you down. And this was my process. This was giving me the chance to understand that not everyone, even though they're claiming to be of God, even though they're claiming to want to do things, they want to win marathons, they want to do this, they want to do that, they're not willing to make the sacrifice. They're not willing to give up those old habits or those old belief systems of doing things. Another thing I had to give up is that that only rich people or only wild people become successful in the world. That's not true. You know, God didn't say that. You know, in the Bible, you know, yes, it's not. They're saying that everyone that, you know, is a believer and that is, you know, doing right thing, it's going to be harder for them because worldly things, you know, people who are worldly, they do whatever to get to where they're at, like cutting corners, doing things. But that's not what God said. God said you will be prosperous in the land if you follow his commandments. So that means you'll be not only wealthy, that you won't have a want, you won't have the wants, he will supply them for you, but that you will be able to properly appreciate and go in the bountifulness of it. You know, there are a lot of people that are rich who are depressed. There are a lot of people who are rich that are anxious. There are a lot of people who are rich and are on drugs, both street drugs and pharmaceutical drugs. There are a lot of people who are emotionally just unstable, and they have all the wealth they can. They have all the friends, you know, support and everything. Why? You know, because they're not comfortable. So this is where God was taking me to that special place, like that place to reside in him, that he was going to do it, and he was transitioning me. So yeah, he got me into the transition. That's what I wanted. That's the main thing I wanted to talk about. I know it's getting long-winded, but I had to say this because I haven't made, well, I've made quite a bit of videos, but I haven't posted all of them up. And the reason why I haven't is because, you know, God has been dealing with me. And not only that, a lot of things, obstacles have been getting in my way, and I've been kind of like hesitant to put them on or whatever like that. But I felt like today I needed to make that declaration, because I know that as a lot of people, May is the season of transitions anyway. It's like overnight transitions that's coming on. You know, you've been putting in the work. You know, a lot of things that God was doing for me, it was so behind the scenes. People had, the people that were coming after me thought that I was dead, that they rejected me, all that other stuff, and I felt so bad about it. But it really was God's protection. It was God training me to live in and out of season. You know, there are going to be some seasons of hardships, you know, and me dealing with people and dealing with the public, I got to understand that these situations don't go away. I can't just run from them. When you're dealing it with yourself, you can go and retreat and you can run away from them. But if you're dealing with other people, you have to be able to stand. You got to be firm. You know, and God was giving me that transition. When you're a kid, you're able to run away. But when you get an adult, you have to dig in. You know, you got to get deeper. And like I said, God was transitioning me. He was transitioning me for this point. So I thank the Lord Jesus Christ for going through this, you know, going through this, this chain of events. Because, just when you think you're low, you're thinking that it's, you know, God has left you. That's how I felt like God had left me. But he was right there the whole time. He was right there the whole time. It was me. He was conditioning me. He was training me. He was molding me. He had already broken me down, grinding me. But he was training me. He was the potter. You know, I'm the clay. So he's training me and molding me into what he has designed for me to do. And because of that, a lot of things are going to hurt. A lot of things are going to be tough. When you think about a potter and a clay and doing it, it's a lot of processing that's going through. You know, I had to grind it down. Now he's building it back up. But now he's got to put fire on it to burn away all the things that were not necessary to my growth. Everything that was destructive. Because if they stay longer, it's not going to, it's going to go against the masterpiece, to the creation that he has designed, you know. It is going to mess up the vessel that he's created. And I had to understand that. So some of y'all are getting into transitions, okay? It's transitions, okay? Don't be afraid of it. You know, God said, be not afraid, for I have overcome the world. Okay, he done that for you. And whosoever believe it will come in that. So I had to understand that. I had to understand it. Yes, I lost a lot of people that I thought were meaningful to me, and some of them still were meaningful to me. Some of them still are meaningful to me. Doesn't mean that I hate them. It's just part of my growth. It was just part of my growth and part of what God has designed for me. Because some of those people on the level that I'm going could not stay there. They could not vibrate on that next playing field, that next level playing field. That's the same thing that is happening to a lot of you. So hopefully something I said and done will help you on your journey. Please stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem. And if you are going through these transitions, please share this. Please let people know, because I know nothing that I go through is an accident. Nothing that I have ever said is so wonderful that it was just for me. It's never that, okay? We are not on this planet just to serve ourselves and just to make ourselves better or just to be us, It's to help someone else, okay? We are all connected. So, like, share, subscribe. Hopefully something I said or done will help you on your journey. Stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem. Thank you so much.